Holy crap, that is cold! Marble Mountain Wilderness, Klamath National Forest, California, Humboldt and Mount Diablo meridians. This is my map here of the area. Independence, I believe that is where I'm at right now. This is where I'm going to turn off the Highway 96, go over this bridge here, Independence Creek Road, Titus Gap, Johnson's Hunting Ground. Yep, all right, cool. That's where I'm going to start my hike at the trailhead. And it has turned to a gravel road. Beautiful looking mountains there. So 15N10 is the road that I've been going up. And here we get to 15N07, so it can be a little bit tricky sometimes reading these maps and, you know, finding your right, you know, dirt road going off in some winding direction, but it's working out good. That is the one, just another couple of miles. Why am I walking down a godforsaken road with a backpack on my back and no truck in sight? Well, you will be learning that. That is what this movie is about. It is 6 days later and a lot has happened. I just need to jump in here real quick to explain that my truck broke down a little while later and I stopped filming. A complicating series of events then transpired involving some hunters that came along who had cell phone service because they had a different provider than I did. And we were able to call a tow truck and have someone come up there to tow me out of there. And so after they had left and everything, I was there in the evening watching a beautiful pink sunset and then decided, okay, I think I'll film this and see how this plays out. Here we go. So I just watched an amazing sunset there. Waiting now for the mechanic to hopefully arrive. There's the previously trusty rig. It failed me today, and I'm not out of the woods yet, as they say, smack in the middle of them. And I'm now hoping that the mechanic will in fact show up. If not, then I sleep here for the night and figure something else out in the morning. All right, it's just a few minutes later and I hear the sound of a truck. Hopefully that's him. Almost certainly it is. Oh, yeah, I can see, you can see that. Lights down there. Deliverance, I hope. And there it is, up on the truck. Gonna be an hour drive back to Happy Camp, and then have a mechanic look at it tomorrow. Wow, this is depressing. This is gonna cost me a lot of money, and I'm not gonna get to do my backpacking trip. Rough one. And we're now in Happy Camp, the closest tiny little town. Al's Garage. So my truck is over there. Thought I'd come over here and do this in the light. So the tow truck guy there is not the mechanic. His office is a few blocks away, and so I went over there, paid the bill, Cost me 350 bucks. And that did not include a fix. He just got the thing here. And so now I gotta wait till tomorrow, of course, to see what is wrong with that thing. So in the meantime, I'm going to sleep here tonight in the back of the truck to avoid paying for a hotel, and just kind of pray that the damage isn't too bad tomorrow. Good morning. And so that is where I slept last night. I actually managed to sleep okay, fortunately, and then got cleaned up a little bit in the restroom at the mechanic there. This is the thriving, bustling city of Happy Camp. Lots of trees around, as you can see. The Marble Mountains are out there. And so I'm now waiting for the mechanic to take a look and hope that it is a quick, easy, inexpensive fix. One can hope. We'll see. So bad news. The fuel pump is out. They don't have that part here. And the owner here is going into hip surgery tomorrow and is going to be out of commission. And so he's saying they can't deal with it. I'm going to have it towed from here. And that will be really expensive, and then have to have it fixed, which he said will probably be another $350, at which point I've, put more into the car than it's worth probably at that point. And so I'm offering to sell it to him, and he's going to check the value, and he's considering doing that. So then I'll be hitchhiking out of here. So all right, the deal is done. Sold for 1,250 bucks is what he's going to buy it from me for. And so now I'm going to do a total rearrange of my stuff here, because I have too much stuff to hitchhike out of here, which is what I'm going to be doing. Fortunately, there's a post office right there, and so I got a couple of boxes here, and so I'm going to pack up stuff that I don't need and mail that to my mom's house down in Mendocino County, south of here, which is where I was headed ultimately for now anyways. And then trying to decide, I'm actually still thinking of doing the backpacking. Hitching south from here to the turnoff, and then getting up that road that I broke down on with some hunters or whatever, and going out for several days, and then coming back and hitching back south from here. Happy Camp, population 1,110, 1,085 feet. There we go, folks. I'm all packed up and on a different sort of adventure here. So I'm going to walk to the end of town here, start hitchhiking, and I'm gonna go for the backpacking if I can get up there. I got tons of food, so I'm all good to go. So I'm at the intersection of 16N05 and 15N10, if that means anything to you, which it doesn't. So I got a ride out of Happy Camp from a guy who got me like 5 miles up this road, heading up to one of the trailheads into the Marbles. I don't know what's gonna happen tonight. I just checked the map, and it is still quite a ways to that trailhead. There is a campground there. If I can get to that campground tonight and sleep there, then I can start hiking into the Marbles tomorrow. I haven't seen a single car come along, and I've been hiking for a good 45 minutes or something. So we'll see what happens. Marble Mountain Wilderness, 8 miles. Sulphur Springs Campground, 3 miles. Things are getting interesting. A bridge over the creek. I'll show you the creek there. Looks great for a swim. Maybe not today. And check this out. Pretty darn sure that's bear scat there. That is the 3rd or 4th time that I've seen it on the road hiking up here. Rain coming down again and lots of thunder. And and things just keep getting more and more fun out here. It is now hailing. And the thunder continues. Looks like a tree broke and fell across the road, and then they cut it up to get it off the road. Hear the lightning there, I mean the thunder. And it is like really coming down now. That campground has got to be really close. Yeehaw, campground. Hell yeah. Warning, mountain lion sighted in this area. Do not hike alone. Okay, I broke that one. Go in groups with adults supervising children. Avoid dawn and dusk. Keep children close to you. Do not approach a lion. Do not run from a lion. Running may stimulate a mountain lion's instinct to chase. Do not crouch down or bend over. Do all you can to appear larger. Fight back if attacked. There you go, a little lesson on mountain lion encounters. So this is the Sulphur Springs campground. The Norcross one would be a mile up the road there. And so I was scoping out that site down there and trying to find a spot that wasn't too wet to set up the tent, and was thinking about it and was like, I think I'm going to make an executive decision here and hold off on setting up the tent, because at this point, as you can probably imagine, I would rather be warm in a hotel room watching TV than spending a long night. It's not even, you know, at all dark yet, in my tent, you know, trying to stay warm and dry. If I set up my tent and a truck comes along, then, you know, there go my chances of getting a ride. They aren't going to wait for me to set up or take down my wet tent. And so I decided I'm going to hang out here under this little overhang. There's still plenty of light, and so I may as well hang tight here a little bit and see if some deliverance comes along down the road. I'm kind of losing hope on anybody coming along. The chances of anyone still being back up in there with this weather is pretty small, but it looks like it's getting late. The sun might have set or is about to or something. Check that out. That is the Himalayas of Nepal there. A picture I took when I did the Langtang trek back in winter of 2014. So check it out. I am warm and cozy in my tent here. There you go. So you can see I'm in my sleeping bag. And then over here, you got the vestibule. So here's the fabric of the tent, which I'll zip up soon. And then this is the rain fly that goes over the tent. You can see maybe some water droplets out there, but they're staying on the outside. And so as you can see, I got the computer here even, lugged it on up here. It is fairly light at least. It's gonna be a long night, but I will get through it. Get a little work done on the computer there. I got a book to read as well, and I am wiped out, so I will probably go to sleep here pretty soon. And tomorrow is another day. Then my mission is getting out of here one way or another. So see you in the morning. Welcome to the Marble Mountain Wilderness. Norcross, Trailhead, Klamath National Forest. You are here. Norcross, Sulphur Springs, that's where I camped last night. I'm going for it, folks. I gotta do it. As you can see, the weather has improved considerably. And, you know, I was thinking about it, and the thought of just walking back down that paved road that I walked up yesterday just sounded kind of depressing. Here I am at the edge of the wilderness that I came up here to explore. And so I'm gonna do it. I'm going to hike up the trail out here and spend probably 2 to 3 nights or so back in there. I just lucked out big time and got a ride with a guy from that Sulphur Springs campground straight up here. So that saved me some energy and time. All right, gonna hit the trail. All right, switching over to my GoPro here to better catch this amazing scenery. And it's going to get a lot more amazing as I get higher up. Hey, Bear. Coming through. Hey, Bear. Go on. Oh yeah, things are definitely getting more interesting. Marble Mountain Wilderness, Klamath National Forest. All right. And there you go. Just a couple of minutes later, and pretty sure that is bear scat. And when you see that, definitely gets you thinking a little bit. Check it out, I made it, but man, look at how late it is. It's almost dark. I did not expect at all that it would take this long for me to get up here. I must have gotten a later start than expected, and just took longer than expected. For one thing, I was already sore from yesterday's hike. Yesterday, I hiked up the road to get to that campground, about like 9 miles or so. I am seriously beat at this point. It is good to be here though, and it is going to be a really pretty sight in the morning. So this is the camp. Nah, you can't see nothing here. You can see through the trees there. But there's a nice fire ring here, some logs for sitting on, a great spot. I think there's even a grate. Awesome, yeah, there's a grate there. And then the lake, Blue Granite Lake, is down here. It looks really pretty. I don't think anybody else is here. I haven't heard any fires crackling or anything like that. So there it is. It is going to be an amazing sight in the morning, that's for sure. So now I got to get to work, building a campfire, setting up my tent, cooking up dinner. All right. That is a beautiful sight. Like you can hardly imagine, without actually being up here in the middle of these dark woods with nobody else around. Pretty intense, but I've done it before and I knew what to expect here. But having a crackling, warm, very inspiring fire here makes all the difference. All right, time to get some food cooking there. Good morning. I survived the night, both the cold and the potential bears, but no bears fortunately. And so this is Blue Granite Lake, a pretty sight for sure. The sun just starting to rise over the ridge there, so things are starting to warm up finally. A little bit of a haze here. We'll see what the day brings. Now, to be perfectly honest here though, I'm slightly disappointed by this lake. So it's called Blue Granite, and over here, I believe this is granite here, these rocks. However, what I was expecting is one of these lakes that is ringed by just massive blocks, boulders of granite all around the lake, which exists here in the Marble Mountains, and it is actually a much more stunning sight. And it is also a lot easier if you want to take a swim in the lake, for one thing. Check this out. It's just this muddy
mess along the lake here. The only way that I've like been able to get, you know, access to the water is jumping out on this log here, and I've practically fallen in a couple of times because it's kind of slippery. So, you know, not complaining here or anything. This is amazing. I'm stoked to be up here. But I'd like to take a swim today to wash off. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. I'll figure it out, but maybe one of these other logs around the edge over there, I can get in the water that way without, you know, having to sort of plod through the muck here. But it's just so nice and quiet and peaceful. And cool to get that feeling of being truly up in the mountains as opposed to, you know, down in the valleys and the ravines and in the middle of the forest. And then here, these are some of the higher mountains here in the Marbles.
So things have gotten interesting, you could say. It's now middle of the afternoon. This morning after breakfast, then I decided that I was going to stay here for the rest of the day, and so I started collecting firewood. And then it started raining, just sprinkled a little bit, and then it went away. It barely even got the ground wet or anything. And so I decided to take a swim. And so I hopped in the lake. Over on the left-hand side over there is a big tree. That tree right there. And so I was able to get into the water that way, take a swim. It was amazing. The water was actually pretty warm. It felt great. I really needed it. And just as I was getting out, then it started sprinkling again, and the weather just deteriorated. And as you can see, it's now raining again. It's kind of been back and forth. It's all misty, and I don't know where this weather is going. The forecast had supposedly been that it would be warming up by the weekend. Today is Friday, I think. And so we'll see what happens tomorrow, but this is not, you know, exactly what I had expected. All right, my water is boiling here, and so I'm going to have some mashed potatoes, Idahoan, fully loaded, peppered bacon and cheddar. Funny thing is these are actually vegetarian, and they're very tasty. Pretty cool sight here. It's getting on evening now. I spent the afternoon mostly just relaxing in my tent, giving my legs a break, other than collecting more firewood. So we'll see how things are looking tomorrow. Time to get some dinner going. And so I've got some tomato basil soup here that looks pretty darn yummy. Getting dark now. And still misty. Good morning. A much needed change in the weather. What an amazing sight. A cloudless sky, and things have warmed up and dried out. Awesome. And I'm all packed up and ready to roll here. So I will be hiking today to Ukonom Lake. That's where I wanted to get to if the weather was going to improve. So I'm really glad that things got better here. All right, goodbye fire. Things worked out great. Thanks for keeping me warm. This is a great spot here. I'm really glad that I don't have to hike back down the trail the way that I came up. Can see some new territory. Looking forward to this hike out to the next lake and soaking up this amazing sunshine, and then Probably gonna jump in that lake there too. Looking forward to it. Amazing. So where I came from 2 days ago was down that valley down there, came up, and then the trail wraps around and goes back that way to Blue Glacier, or Blue, I keep calling it that, Blue Granite Lake. But I didn't see all that much of this, and I didn't film any of it because I was huffing and puffing trying to get up to the lake before it got dark. So today I'll take this little trail back down to the creek at the bottom of that valley there, and then I'm going to go up and over that ridge right there. Green Granite Lake and Gold Granite Lake. Out that way. I'd really love to hike out there and see those ones, but it's another mile out of the way and then back, and I probably shouldn't push it too much today. Gonna keep on hiking up this mountain here. Well, I was hoping to see the green and golden granite lakes down in there, but I guess they must be hiding behind the trees somewhere. What a view. And getting close to the top of this ridge here. And look at these pretty little berries. Don't those look tasty? I think I'll give these a try. Just kidding. I don't know what these are, but they're probably poisonous. Definitely do not eat berries that you don't know what they are. That's one way that Chris McCandless ended up in his predicament, was he ate some, I think it was a berry that poisoned him. That is the guy from the movie and the book Into the Wild. I actually heard an interesting analysis of that part of his drama there a couple of years ago. Got another shot of the views here, wow. Someone kind of looked at all the information available with what happened in that instance with him eating those poisonous berries. And the deal was that he had a book that was a book about, you know, edible plants and non-edible plants, berries, mushrooms, whatever. I'm not sure how specific it was, but it featured those types of berries that he ended up eating. And as I recall, there are two different berries that look very, very similar. And one of them is poisonous, one of them is not poisonous. And apparently the book itself actually had some bad information in it about that particular berry. And he may have actually read the information correctly and interpreted it correctly and deduced that the berry was not poisonous, and so he went and ate it. And so it actually may not have been his mistake in that regard in eating those poisonous berries. I don't know, you know, how accurate that is or not, but that was kind of an interesting little insight there. As some of you may recall from my book Following My Thumb, then I was up there in Alaska in the summer of 1992 when Chris McCandless was up there just north of Denali National Park, and I was working in Denali National Park. I actually hitchhiked right behind him a month or two after he did, because I was going to university in Juneau, Alaska, on the Panhandle, and had the job set up in Denali Park. And so I took the ferry from Juneau up to Skagway and then hitchhiked through the Yukon of Canada and then into Alaska. And then at that point I was on the same highway that he went, getting to Denali Park. And then I, was working there, having a much funner time working there and backpacking in the park and all that. And then towards the end of the summer, then I heard about a guy that had died outside the park there. So definitely a tragic story. Oh, and there's a little lake down there. I don't know what that is. I don't think that could be the gold or green ones. I think it's just a little pond, basically. It looks really shallow. And so here's where I started this morning, Blue Granite Lake, hiked down here, connected into this trail that I hiked up 2 days ago. Up here, there's the trail going out to the Gold Granite and Green Granite, which I kept on hiking by. Came up here, wrapped around like that, and then that must be that pond that I saw down there that doesn't have a name. Came along this way, and I'm somewhere in here. Straight up ahead pretty soon will be the trail that I will hike down probably tomorrow or maybe the next day down here and then out to Johnson Hunting Ground. But I'll keep on going this way today. Ukonom Lake. Can't wait to take a swim in that lake. cold. Okay. That's enough. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Not my whiskey there, not that there's any left. Not a huge whiskey fan, but a beer sure sounds like it would hit the spot at this point. So I got a nice little camp here, getting things set up, and the sun is just about to go down over that ridge just above the lake there. Oh, and as you walk downhill, it has gone down. Here we go. All right, sun setting. And the fish are jumping. There was actually a fishing pole over on the other side of the lake where I stopped at first, but it was just a pole with no string, no whatever you call it, spinner thing. I have fished in this lake before though. I thought that I had been here once before. I wasn't exactly sure, but I definitely recognize it. Back in 1998, that was the other time that I came out here. Then I spent a week, 10 days, something like that up here, and definitely came to this lake. It is a sweet spot for sure. All right, I think that one's gonna go. This is my third attempt. It was those damp twigs there from the rains the past couple of days. Okay, I think it's definitely going. Time to get that soup in the pan. I'm starving. And check that out. That is some hearty looking stuff there. Organic lentil soup with all kinds of veggies in it. But there's no grate at this campsite, so I got to make sure not to dump it in the fire accidentally. That is going to be good. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime. No help from my friends. So, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Oh Lord, won't you buy me a color TV? Dialing for dollars is trying to find me. I wait for delivery each day until 3. So, oh Lord, won't you buy me a color TV? But I guess the campfire will have to do for now. So here's where I am, Ukonom Lake. Came up yesterday from Blue Granite Lake. And what I need to do next is hike from here, up here, along like this, up this ridge, Johnson's Hunting Ground trailhead. Where my truck broke down, it's right there. So that's going to be kind of interesting to be walking right past the place where this whole thing began. And then from there, I have to make my way down these dirt roads here. Eventually it turns paved around here. Get back to the main highway here, and then hitchhike south. So there are a number of considerations here in terms of making up my mind whether I'm going to leave today or tomorrow. Now, take a look at this place. What a perfect day in the wilderness. I'd really love to stay here for one more night. However, for one, then I am getting low on food and I have no dinner for tonight. All I have is my snacks. I have enough food to, get by on for another 2-3 days, but it isn't going to be as fun sitting around here by a campfire eating sesame sticks and peanut butter bars and stuff like that. Also, and much more importantly, is the fact that my family might be getting a bit concerned. Today is Sunday. I sent out an email on Monday night, the day before I left, saying that I would be gone 4 to 5 days, maximum a week. And so that's basically then from Tuesday, because I sent the email Monday night saying that I would be leaving the next day, Tuesday, a week later, the next Tuesday. Today is Sunday. So if I stay again tonight, then I hike out tomorrow, and if I can get out to a phone tomorrow out there, then at that point they might be thinking a little bit, I hope that he's okay, but should be all right. But I'm going to have a very, very long hike getting out of here. First to the trailhead and then down to the road. I don't know what the total mileage is, but that could be somewhere in the range of 20 miles possibly. Fortunately, it is going to be relatively easy because I'm already up here in elevation, and so it is going to be mostly downhill, especially once I get to the road heading down from there. Then it is going to be just a steady downhill, and I can pretty much cruise. But there's one complication here, which is that my back has been hurting. The day that I hiked up from the trailhead to Blue Granite Lake, arrived that night and, felt sore and everything, but didn't really notice much. The next day, then I felt a real kind of kink in my sort of mid-upper back there. And then it got worse throughout the day to the point that, like trying to sit up from certain positions, then my muscles would spasm, and I was definitely starting to feel it more and more. And so I took that one day off, and the next morning, fortunately, was feeling better. That was yesterday. Hiked up here, and then was feeling a lot worse. The back was really feeling super tight and sore. And then going throughout things in the evening, all of the, starting the fire and making the dinner and washing the dishes and all that stuff, then I was really feeling it. And so finally I got into my tent and laid down and felt better. This morning, definitely feeling better, but I'm still feeling it. And I feel like if I were to try to hike out today, especially considering the distance and everything, that I could really be pushing it, and I could get partway there and just feel like I need to stop or I'm really going to mess things up. So basically, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I'm just going to enjoy this morning here, chill out, relax, try not to stress the back too much, and see how things feel. So I guess I'm not getting out of here today. It is mid-afternoon. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous day here.
I've just been kind of hanging out, went for a couple of swims, did some yoga on the rocks here, and then lay down in my tent for a bit, took a bit of a rest, feeling a bit better. The back is definitely still a bit tenuous, but I'm doing okay, and I think I will be good to go for tomorrow. So just going to enjoy this incredible day here by this absolutely splendid lake. And so I'm going to go for a little walk around the lake. Gonna head out this way, see what I come across. And it is genuinely hot. So, oh, little froggy. I'm going to get the hat and the shirt wet. Lots of animal tracks here. Hoofed animals, probably some deer and elk. And check it out, tons of these tiny little frogs all over the place. And I've got a creek here to get over somehow without getting my shoes all wet and muddy. Head up this way a little bit. And it's not actually a fully flowing creek, it just kind of dries out. So get across here. If this isn't quicksand, no. A cool little miniature forest here. Fall is on its way. Despite this amazing warm sunny day, the forecast apparently is for snow in just a few days on Wednesday. Today is Sunday. That is going to be a pretty scene. Wish I could be here for that. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Woo-hoo! Whoop. Forgot about my hat. Oh boy, that wakes you up.
(5:09 a.m. Monday, September 26th. I am not in Arcata. No service, imagine that. So, here I am. I slept pretty good. My back is feeling much better. I think it's time to get packed up and do this thing.
And so my mission for today goes like this. I hike from Ukonom Lake here to the Johnson's Hunting Ground trailhead. That is going to be 6, 7, 8 miles, something like that. Then I will be at the Jeep Roads near where my truck broke down. From there, it is a long downhill hike of 10, 12 miles, something like that. Fortunately, it will be all downhill. And so hopefully I can jam that out, we'll see, relatively quickly. Then I will be at Highway 96. At that point, I am still smack in the middle of nowhere. Highway 96 goes between Happy Camp, where I took my truck to the mechanic, and Willow Creek, south of there, and a few little tiny towns along the way. But that junction where the Jeep roads will connect into it, there's absolutely nothing. It's just a bridge across the Klamath River, and then at that point, then I will have to start hitchhiking south and get down to Willow Creek. From there, I will then hitchhike west over to the town of Arcata, which is essentially where this journey began, and then I will be back in civilization. My ultimate goal for this day is to be eating a burrito at Haywan Restaurant by sometime this afternoon or evening. We shall see how it goes. Ukonom Lake, where I just came from. Granite Lakes, the gold, green, and blue, where I hiked in from 2 days ago. And presumably, this is where I'm heading now. Not much of a trail, and no sign for Johnson's Hunting Ground, but this has to be it. It has to be. It has to be. It goddamn better be. Yeah, it's looking like a pretty good trail. Oh man, these hills are what are killer. Looking forward to getting to the downhill part. Hey bear, go on. Coming through. Hey bear, there you going. Coming through. What the hell? A junction, a crossing point of two trails. I was not expecting another trail. I don't remember one on the map. This one is much more prominent. And I'm going to take a wild guess that there's about to be a pretty awesome view and lots of sunshine. Oh yeah. Check that out. Wow. Holy shit. And so on my map, there is no other trail here. Coming up this way, with the amazing view, this basically goes over a cliff and in the wrong direction. So that shouldn't be it. And on the map, right here, it shows the trail taking a hard left all of a sudden. And that is the correct distance from that other junction. So that other one must be it. I hope to hell. And so that trail was turning almost non-existent
but then it leads into this one. So I don't know quite what happened there, what I missed, but keep going this way. These trails just keep petering out. This one looks like it's now going back down towards Ukonom Lake. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I'm going to head up here. I'm now off trail. This is not how I hope to expend my energy. And check out that view. There's Ukonom Lake. I'd sure feel a lot better if I was on a trail. Johnson's hunting ground is out there somewhere. Does that view look familiar? I'm back where I was an hour and a half ago. I got pretty much thoroughly lost there, back in there. The one guiding light was that I could still see Ukonom Lake. And so, I was lost in the bushes and stuff and going through those rocks, finding no sign of the trail. Finally, I decided I should get back to the trail that I had been on before, coming up from Ukonom Lake, and at least be back on a trail and head up there and start over again. This is the trail that I came up, looked out here and thought, well, that seems to be going in the totally wrong direction, so I'm not going to take that. Seems like I should be heading out that way. And so my best guess and hope and prayer at this point is that this is in fact the trail, and that's the only thing that makes any sense, and it is going to go down this hill and then swing a hard left. Hard left. Looking good so far. So it's another 30-40 minutes later or so, and this is definitely a trail, and I'm pretty certain it is also the trail that I want to be on, because it sucks. It is not clearly defined. A lot of places it almost peters out and you're like, crap, it just finished, it just stopped, what the hell? And then you find it and can keep it going. And on the map, then it identifies this trail as being not suitable for livestock, because it is not a strongly maintained or cut out trail. This trail is leading into another trail. The right one will head down to the area that I started this trip, and then the left one will head up to Johnson's hunting ground trailhead. And both of those trails are suitable for livestock. So this trail should connect into that one, and then it should get better. There it is again. Whoa. Check that out. Elk. A whole herd. Gone! Not that elk are much to worry about, as long as you don't walk up and try to pet them. But the trail is going right towards them. So I was forced to go completely off trail again. That trail just petered out. A few different faded trails that went off in different directions, but you don't know like what's maybe just an elk trail. I tried several times retracing my steps and nothing. And so at this point that I'm figuring just heading downhill. At least this is easier terrain to hike through. The area where I hiked up to Blue Granite Lake is out that way. And so I'm basically in the middle of two trails that are going to converge on each other eventually. And so that is my hope at this point. The only kind of, hopeful thing is that I feel like I have to get on a trail one way or another going this way. I've got all day and I've got the motivation. I'm just going to keep on going with it. And at this point, my burrito back in Arcata is definitely second priority. At this point, it's just to get to a main trail, get to a trailhead, and then whatever the situation is, whatever the time of day, I have food, I'll be okay at that point. So hoping for the best. This is a very hopeful sign. Not a main trail, but a trail that should go to a bigger one. This is pretty messed up, folks. Unfortunately, that trail did not save me. It completely just petered out all of a sudden. Totally weird. I just looked at my map just to confirm, what I thought about where I was, and I am in between two trails that converge into each other. So I got to get there eventually. All right, I'm going to stop wasting my time filming and focus on getting out of here. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my God. I have no idea which trail this would be. I hope this one isn't going to disappear on me like the last one. Thank God. So this is where I was a few days ago on my way up to Granite Glacier, Blue Granite Lake. Up that trail. Now what I'm really confused about is how I ended up down in the ravine on the other side of this trail without ever seeing the trail, because that is on the opposite side from where I started from. So that whole thing is just totally weird and confusing. But anyway, here I am, and I will now head back down this way, and I can be out of here in probably a couple of hours to the trailhead, and then probably nobody there, and then I have a long walk down that road, 12 miles at least or something, unless I get lucky and get a ride. Let's hope so. Oh man. So this is what you call a trail. A clearly well-defined, obvious, it's a no-brainer, you can't screw it up. You're not going to wander off this way. Oh, where'd the trail go? Oh no, what's going on here? I can't find it. The trail is obvious, right? This is my, I don't know how many times I've been in the Marble Mountains, but 3 times in my adulthood, as well as the times that we came here when I was a kid. And all of the trails are well defined. There's never an issue of, does the trail go this way? Does the trail go this way? Is that the trail? So that trail needs to be shut down, closed, a skull and crossbones sign at the beginning of the trailhead that says, enter at your own risk. It is a valid thing to go backpacking off trail. I've done it before. I did a outward bound course when I was 17 for 3 weeks, and we were out in the wilderness off trail for most of the time. So when we actually got back on the trail, it was like, wow, the Pan American Highway civilization, But that was with 2 experienced instructors and a group of people. And so that is a whole different situation. As soon as you get off the trail, navigation becomes a completely different thing. Having the map in those kinds of circumstances is basically useless. That's why I hardly checked the map. I knew basically where I was between those two trails and that I would have to hit one of them eventually. This was not a, stupid mistake on my part. That trail is bad, is not what you expect when you go hiking into designated wilderness like this, that is, public property that is set aside for people to enjoy. Families, people who may never have backpacked before and are doing it for the first time, who are not expecting to end up in a life or death situation, completely lost in the middle of the wilderness like that. And so I don't know what's going on with that trail and why it is still open. Okay, rant over. That is what you call ice cold. Survived. You are here. Norcross, trailhead, campground, road going this way to Happy Camp. I'm gonna be so dang happy to see Happy Camp. So here's Ukonom Lake. I started off from here, hiked up here, took that left. As you can see, the black there indicates that it is not as established of a trail. Secondary trail, not recommended for stock. Not recommended for humans either. And so I got lost somewhere in here and was all through here for hours and hours. I didn't show most of what happened there because I was just trying to get out of there. And so somehow then I ended up in Tickner Creek. When I made that one little clip where I was standing in the little creek there, like down in that gully, somehow I ended up there without seeing this trail. And then I hiked back up because it was just too hard of going through there, and then found this trail somewhere around here, pretty close to the junction there, and then finally got back to there and then realized that I was found and safe, and I knew where I was going and how much further I had to get back. And so then I hiked along here like this. Oh my God, that was a lot more of an adventure than I was counting on, that's for sure. And nobody here at the parking lot waiting to pick me up. Can't say I'm too surprised. It's a good 10, 12 miles, something like that, into town. But this feels a whole lot better than being lost in the wilderness. Life doesn't always go as planned, but don't let that stop you from living. Peace.